So yeah, Maxime Flament. So I'm the CTO of 5G AA, and my role is really to look at the work program, all the activities within the working groups, the work items, and all the way up, of course, to the board, and making sure that there is some coherence. And at the end of the day, the goal is to make sure that we make it happen, make connected cars happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Johannes Springer. I'm representing Deutsche Telekom in the 5G Automotive Association, and I'm also representing 5G Automotive Association as Director General. That's an elected position year by year, and I'm very proud to do that and happy to represent 5GA in many activities. Yeah, the 5GA is of course an association which was founded 6 years ago, and we have the very clear ambition to bring the automotive industry and the telecommunication industry together. Why is this so important? Because we are talking about connected and automated mobility, which involves a lot of various actors to organize ecosystems. And in that regard, it is very fundamental to bring various industry actors together. And we need to create a platform where all these kind of discussions can happen, and that is exactly the 5GA is doing now since more than 6 years. It's continuously growing, and it's important that we have this platform. And it's also very important to have this platform as a global platform, because connected and automated mobility is not stopping at a certain border, and it is a global market. So all the products which are produced and sold in that market are more or less global. What is your impression, Maxime? You are working for this association. Of course, I would not say from the beginning, but from almost the very early stages.
Yeah, when I'm trying to present 5GA, first it's a membership. It's really creating value for the members, making sure that we create market opportunities and we address market entry barriers. So putting deployment first. But when we are talking about deployment, we also have to talk about making sure that we have a level playing fields with standards. And so the standardization for us is very important, giving inputs to the different standards, whether it's at global level, but also at the regional levels. We are, of course, confronted with different policy making environments and different regions. And so at the regional level, we have to act. We have different groups. We have 6 different groups: US, Europe, China, Japan, Korea. We're making sure that we enter in discussions with these policymakers, address their concerns, and make sure that the global solutions can be transposed at the local level. And then from an innovation point of view, that's also very important. And we mentioned evolution, and the evolution is very important. Our members have the duty to come with an innovation within 5GA, and whether these innovation need general consensus across the industry, that's where really 5GA makes a difference.
I'm always impressed if I see from the membership perspective the broad coverage of topics we need to deal with. You know, if it's easy to say automotive industry and telecommunications industry, but what is automotive? It's a car manufacturers. So we are representing 13 out of the 15 big car manufacturers around the globe. Of course, the car manufacturers have their supplier industry, the big first-tier suppliers, even the second-tier suppliers down to the antenna design in the car. And we have the chipsets, we have the handhelds, which are important for the consumers, for the other traffic participants on the road. Even that we have a 5G Automotive Association, we have cyclists on the road, we have motorcycles on the road, we have so-called powered two-wheelers, the scooters and so on the road. We have pedestrians on the road, we have road workers on the road. So we have a huge bunch of traffic participants where we need to take care about, and we have, of course, a lot of technology pieces which are important for them. And of course, we have the whole telecommunication systems, which is coming from the cellular connectivity. We are talking now about non-terrestrial satellite communication. So all these bricks need to come together, and that is for me always the beauty of the 5G Automotive Association.
Yeah, so the way I like to see it is we want to bring services and solutions to the end customers, but to do it, there are different pillars, there are different ways to address it. And we have on one way the infrastructure that has to play a role, and it's digitalizing itself constantly. The car, of course, has increased in complexity dramatically over the last 15 years. The electronics everywhere, screens everywhere. So we need to use all these digital means to make sure that we increase safety, improve traffic, and eventually also the make a better impact on the environment. And then the last part is the digital user, the user that is always constantly connected, always on his phone or with his watch, and these also have to be integrated in the ecosystem, in the road, as a real participants to the road environment.
We are meeting here in The Hague, and this is a city. It's not a large city, but it's a city in a larger area of Amsterdam and very crowded areas. So what do you think, what can 5GA create an impact in such kind of an environment? What can we do here for the local authorities? We meet 3 times a year in various regions around the globe, in Asia, in America, today here in Europe. What is your perspective on this?
The Hague and the whole Holland is an amazing place where we have so many pedestrian, but mostly cyclists, and where we really will make a difference in these environments is when we can integrate all these vulnerable road users into the safety ecosystem, making sure that the vulnerable road users are indicated at least to the drivers, so that there is a minimum awareness of the cyclists in your back or on your right or left, or and all the way to indicating possible intentions or critical collision points through means of artificial intelligence. So understanding better where are the different patterns of and the different trajectories of these pedestrians and cyclists in different environments such as intersections, and then by monitoring what's happening over 1 week, over a month or so, the intelligence in terms of delivering a warning becomes tremendous, to the point where you really start to avoid false alarms. False alarms are definitely the thing that you want to avoid. Otherwise, the user actually switch off the device. So the integration. Why this integration is important, the integration of the pedestrians and the cyclists, is because at the end, if we really look at the statistics, more than 50% of the fatalities and the casualties are the people outside the car. They are not the people inside the cars, whether it's drivers or passengers. So we really need to pay attention to them. And if connectivity can make a difference, it's making sure that we connect these vulnerable road users.
Yeah, the VRUs, so-called VRUs, that's a term which we widely use. Of course, it needs always to be explained to others. The vulnerable road users is definitely a very important topic. When we meet here, for me, it is also always very important to get attention to best practices which are created, because we are producing 20 white papers, technical papers a year, roughly. So a lot of knowledge is generated inside the association. We are contributing to the standards, what you have said. Hopefully our papers are read. They are very well recognized. We get a lot of attention to that. But from my understanding, it is also very important to create lighthouse projects or lighthouse regions where we can show the world, at the end, the world, how the things can be brought together, how the different pieces can work together, so that the service is achievable in the car, the pedestrian or the cyclists get a benefit, the city can control the traffic in a more efficient way, in a more sustainable way, and a more CO2 reduced way. And this is, I think, here also the beauty. And in The Hague, but not only in The Hague, is only representing one city here in the whole Netherlands. That the Netherlands have set up a system which is working very well and which is working very, very promising.
Yeah, but what is very interesting when you start connecting all the road actors around around an intersection or around a lighthouse area, or is that if you're really looking at how things are really working, you always have different devices, connected to the different mobile network operators. These mobile network operators have to cooperate to guarantee that the critical kind of information is delivered across the clouds or across the edge computing facilities that are out here, and also making sure that these are delivered to the cars through different means of communication. So not only the relying only on the mobile network, but also relying on short-range communications, which are then delivering very time-critical, safety-relevant information to the drivers or to the e-bike or to other participants. So this environment that you see on an intersection, you replicate it in 5GA, and by having all the major actors in the 5GA, you enable this cooperation that is needed and going to happen at the different intersections around the world.
Yeah. Around the world, and of course also within a city. I think that is also very important if we are discussing, and we do so today again with various decision makers from road authority and road operators. We see the tendency that they are starting with a project. They are selecting an intersection, they are selecting a certain stretch of a motorway. They are doing something, and that's of course great in terms of a start, but then the critical phase is starting, how to bring this in a short period of time to a large set of intersections. Because the customer, the driver, take for instance now the automotive driver, this automotive driver is traveling an hour or 2 hours per day in his car. And it is a worst case scenario for him if he's getting an information at one intersection, but in the next 4 intersections, he's losing the information because the intersection is not equipped. So what shall the driver do? What shall the driver rely on? The driver might be even more confused, and that's then the decision of the car OEMs not to put a certain technology into the car, even if it is there, even if it is available, but the reliability of the information or the reliability of the service is not there. So scale and penetration, where always, of course, also we as telco operators are very eager to create scale. We need critical mass of customers, traffic participants, equipped intersections, road workers which are equipped with a certain technology. So scaling is a very important topic, and the speed of scaling up. We cannot wait for the next 20 years to do something. We need to do something within the next 5 years, which is creating an impact, which we, by the way, of course, also describe in our roadmap. If you want to synchronize all these various actors in the field, we need to have a tool where we are able to get everybody on board and say, hey, you need to do something at a certain point of time, otherwise the whole system will not work. And that's exactly what we are doing in our roadmap. And we are using it as a synchronization tool for all the various actors.
You know that you mentioned the 5G roadmap. What is also interesting is how technology evolves and how technology will at different point of time evolve to a point that it unlocks new use cases. And of course, we are not forgetting, all the more basic use cases that have already been deployed, but 5G needs to always look at new challenges, and these new challenges come with more and more automation is in the car, more and more actuations in the car. So using what information is transmitted by others and relying and trusting this information to the point that this information can be used in the automation system of the vehicles. Now, I always think that this needs to be a complement with other kind of information, like sensors information from the cars, or even sensor information from the infrastructures. We see that many intersections have sensors, so we should make sure that we use this information, and this information is delivered to the cars in a way that it's trustable. And then you can start really do very smart things based on the different informations that is fused in one point, and that you can make decisions out of these in a trustable way, in a reliable way.
5GA is not the only association which is dealing with connected and automated mobility topics. So what kind of important actors do you see where we need to engage on, maybe also more intensively in the future?
Over the last 6 years, clearly 5G has positioned itself not as a center of this ecosystem, but rather as a place where we welcome all different organizations. We have all kinds of organizations that are acting locally or regionally to promote technology such as 5G. We have also a whole set of industry stakeholders, industry representatives, such as the industry representation for mobile network operators, but also for the vehicle manufacturers, obviously. And then one pillar that perhaps as an industrial organization, a global industrial organization, we are missing in our membership is to make sure that we partner with the different authorities around the world. Some authorities have engaged with us to the point where they're actually coming at the meetings and coming and contributing to the meeting without being full members, because they are not industry players, but still giving very valid inputs.
My perspective to add in maybe a bit in this direction is also with regard to deployment, with regard to make it happen, whether we should also more engage with organizations for certain use cases. Take for instance, we have right now in the US a great discussion about these school bus warnings. We have 250,000, I learned that from applied information, 250,000 school buses in the US. Maybe it's 300,000, it doesn't matter. So how can we equip these school buses in a short period of time with a technology which saves lives? So there must be an organization, there must be an association where we could collaborate to simply facilitate such kind of a use case. Take the firefighters, which can save time, even if it's only a minute or two, but it matters at the end to save lives, to be quicker at the safety spot and at the accident. And these need to be they should be organized. There should be an organization behind that, where we as 5GA could collaborate with them to bring a certain use case into the reality. And I'm pretty sure that we have a lot of great opportunities. We have collaborations with satellite organizations who are leveraging the satellites for even improved connectivity. Of course, we have the standardization organization, which need to take care that all these bits and pieces are standardized properly, and that we can get scaled economies of scale available technology. But from a user perspective, from a use case perspective, I'm pretty sure that there are still a lot of opportunities. The road operators, the road authorities are already a good step, but I'm pretty sure that we can.
Yeah, there must be much more. So, roadworks or road constructions associations are also important. But the sky is the limit here in terms of how we want to cooperate with different organizations and promote connected driving and connected vehicles. So, Johannes, besides being the DG for 5GA, you're also representing Deutsche Telekom at 5GA. So, what is exactly the interest and the role of Deutsche Telekom in this respect?
Of course, we are a network operator, and networks are, I would say, the glue between the various actors to transmit the information back and forth between the various actors. The networks need to be operated in a much more quality of service related way. If we are talking about safety relevant information, safety relevant topics, if we are talking about mission critical services for the automotive industry. So we can definitely say that these are not the networks as we perceive today. These networks will evolve and will improve dramatically over the next upcoming years. And 5G is, of course, a very important tool for us to make this happen. That's one very important part. And of course, we are selling this connectivity to the car industry. That's a strong interest to be part here of this journey. But there's also a second very important topic, and that is we don't have only customers sitting in a car. We have customers sitting on a bike. We have customers who are pedestrians. We have school kids as customers because they have equipped connected equipment with them. We have truck companies. We have a public transport. We have even the cities and the road authorities where we are delivering our networks. And this is also a very important second part of the whole ambition to represent these market areas and to make sure that at the end, all the traffic participants are benefiting from what we are doing here in 5GA.